So if you look at the flip book we've been talking about, the entire book is actually driven by XML. Alright, so you flip this over. All the different pages are created by changing XML. The titles are changed in XML. The images, the video that you saw earlier was all basically XML driven. So you're going to learn how to do that. Now there's documentation that comes along with this. Let me show you the XML that actually does all this. So the XML I showed you earlier is really simple, right? Just a few tags here, and I deceived you because this XML can actually become quite complex. And here's the entire XML structure for the book we're playing with today. And you can see there's a lot of tags in here. So how do you learn how to use all these tags? It can be a little bit daunting. Well, the great thing about this ActiveDen book is actually got some cool documentation for you. Let me bring that up real quick. And it goes through all the book properties tag by tag. Now, if you've never worked with XML, this can be a little bit daunting, but don't worry. I'm going to help you out today. I'm going to go through these tags and show you how to change different things, okay? But there's quite a bit of information here, and it's somewhat condensed, so you really need to read through this and see if you can understand everything. There's also a number of PHP files that come along with this particular flip book that allow you actually to email people on the web and actually transfer data. That's pretty cool, or make a PDF out of the files that are there. So this is a great deal, and getting into templates and learning how to build them yourself is actually what you want to do. Because you just don't want to be actually recoding something every time you need it. I'm going to give you an example. Let's go and bring the flipbook back up here. And let's say I want to change this background right here. Hey, I want a different background. Now, if I was going to hard code this different background, I'd actually have to go into Adobe Flash, open it up, take out the old one, put in the new one. It could take me 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how much resizing, everything I had to do. But using XML, it's a cinch. So let me go ahead and bring up the XML and change it for you real quick. So if I go look at my project folder right here, I have a number of different backgrounds. And there you can see background 5, background 3. Here's background 2. It's actually a starry night. Let's put a starry night as our background. And so let's bring up our XML. And I got to find the title in my XML, so let's bring that up. So if I go to the very top, right here is the background tag, and there's that attribute tag, which is the source, and it says background, and I want background what, 2? So let's put a 2 in there. Go ahead and save that. And now let's go back and run our program, see what happens. So to run this program, you would actually want to hit the preview if you just want to get the SWF up. But if you wanted to see how it was going to run on the web, you could actually click the index or the HTML file right here. The SWF runs inside of the HTML. So let's just click the preview. And see, there's our beautiful moonlit background just by simply changing a simple XML tag. Isn't it amazing? And you're going to learn how to tailor this book tonight and bring in different pages. So we just got a few cool pages here. And you can flip this thing around wherever you want to go. And that's the power of XML. And if you get into building e-learning courses or standard templates for the web, you're going to definitely get into loading XML. And so what I want to do now is actually kind of show you how to work with the template some and get you to put your own pages in, okay? Okay, you think you can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, now Zach is back from break, and what he did during his before his break was actually went to the web, grabbed an image, dropped his new image down in the same folder as our source update, for example, is, and then he went to the XML, changed the background image to the new image that he had dropped into his folder, and when he did, the background image changed. Is that correct?
Yep.
And that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, his looks pretty cool. I wish I could bring it up. But anyway, that's pretty much how you start with working with XML. And it's great, and you can learn to program these by dissecting these programs and figuring out how the code works and write your own. Now, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about all these different tags here because that's not the purpose of tonight's lesson. But we're actually going to come along here and start learning how to change the pages to the book so it looks different. So let's go down to where we do that. And that starts with the flip book right here. So in the flip book, you actually have a lot of different tags. Once again, go to the help. And in that HTML help is going to be the XML flip book, AS3 version. And you can go through that and read all about how to change those different tags and what those different tags mean. But we're actually more interested in actually the book page itself because we actually want to start changing book pages. And that's what we're going to concentrate on now. Now, this is somewhat condensed, so you're going to have to read and just change tags and experiment with how they work, and it won't be too hard to figure it out. Just don't be afraid to experiment and change things. Just make sure that you keep a copy of a good working file in case you have to run back and fix it. So we're down here on the flipbook, and they have all these different parameters. You can read what those mean. If you actually leave these two parameters, width and height, equal to 0, then it will resize for you to the screen. And that's exactly what we did in ours. And now we want to start adding pages. And when you add pages, there are different types. There's a double page, a video page, a table page. You can add an image or an SWF. In this particular book, it actually runs best if you add an image. But you can add SWFs, but it's a little bit finicky, so make sure you do it correctly. But we'll be working with images today. And actually what I actually want you to start off with doing is creating a table of contents or changing the one that's there and adding a new book cover. Okay? So let me show you how to do both real quick. So let's move out of help. And just below here, in the flipbook tag, you have the pages. And you know it's a page because it says page. And all you have to do for the first page is just put a new book title in. And where does the book title end? Well, see, this page is slash, means it's in the folder pages. So if we go back to the source code, take a look real quick here. There's a folder in the source code, and that folder is called pages. And that's where we're going to put all our pages. And somewhere in here should be a cover of a book. There it is right there, book cover. So I'm going to want you, Zach, to go to the web and find a book cover. All right? Put it in the pages folder, and then what are you going to do? Go back to your XML and just take the name of that, and that'll be your first page. Now for the second page, I actually called it page 1. You can call it whatever you want to, but it also is in the pages directory. It has a background color and an alpha and a text color, but I also created a table of contents. Isn't that pretty cool right here? And that table of contents uses the list tags. Whatever I set the src attribute to, it actually puts that title in my table of contents. Isn't that pretty cool? So I actually want you to come up with your own book with your own table of contents, and you'll be putting your own images in. Your first web book. Isn't it amazing? Class number what? 4. It says class 4, and you're building your own web book. That's pretty cool. And so I want you to change it. But notice this is a table of contents. So whatever you put as the number here, when you click on that table of contents, it will actually flip the book over to that page. Isn't that great? And so we'll bring that up and show that to you. And so you're actually going to come up with your own page 1. And then you want to come along here and create a page 2. And we're going to talk about building page 2 in the next lecture. Okay, and we're going to start talking about the topic of today's lesson, text layout format. So before we get to that, I wanted to show you real quick how you can change the actual index of the page. So let's bring the book back up. Now to run the book, for example, I could click on preview, or I could click on index HTML. We'll just hit preview, run the SWF. And there's my beautiful book right there, and I want to get in there. I want to change the title, so you already know how to do that, right? And then I want to change the cover page, so you already know how to do that. And then I want to come along here and I want to change the table of contents. So if I didn't like this table of contents and I want to change it to something else, like for example, let's change concept of change to donuts. All right? So I can come along here and I can X this out, go back to my HTML, and in my table of contents, we know it's the table of contents because of the list tags, right? I could change concept of change to donuts. Okay, and when I click on it, it's going to take me to what page, Zach?
Third.
Page 3. So let's go and run that. Save it, and it'll take effect. And let's run the program. Let's flip the book open. And it's donuts. Ta-da! Now when I click on that, nothing happened. Why is that? Because the first page is page 1. The second page is page 2, and this is page 3, so I'm already on page 3. So if I actually wanted to go a little further, I could actually change this to maybe page 4, and it will flip the book over for me. So let's change it to page 4. File, save. Okay, and let's now hit run it. You got to run it again for the effects to take change, because basically it sucks the XML up every time you run the program. And now let's go ahead and click on that. And then hit donuts, and it flips the page for you. There you go. Isn't that pretty neat?
Yep.
all being driven by XML. Now, if I wanted to do that in Flash by hard coding it, I'd have a lot of work there, and it would actually take me probably an hour or two because I have to go in there, I have to rechange tags, where it's going to go, I need to put different pages, I have to redo code. I mean, whenever you have to open up Flash, it's time intensive and actually expensive because you got to pay a programmer to do it. But when you use XML, anybody can go in and exchange XML. It just takes a trained monkey. So I'm very highly suggesting that you learn how to use templates, but also learn how to create your own. So at this point, what I want you to do, Zach, I want you to go there. I want to go to the web. I want you to find your own cover for your book, okay, and create your own titles for the table of contents. You got that?
Yep.
Okay. Bye.